Mario 64, the game that changed the Mario franchise forever. So, why not rank all the levels just to stir the pot a little bit? For each level, I will go through and tell you how I feel about the setting, gameplay, puzzles, what my favorite and least favorite star is, and comment on the level's overall vibes, whatever that means. As I say in all these ranking videos, this list is completely subjective, and you're free to tell me how you feel in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with my least favorite, it's Dire Docks. Oh boy, the dreaded water level. This level is probably part of the reason water levels get such a bad rap. There's not much going on in this area, and it's not visually appealing at all. I mean, it's literally two bodies of water connected by a tunnel. You will spend most of your time swimming, which I guess is expected for a level mostly underwater, but I absolutely cannot stand swimming in this game, so it feels like a bit of a chore. There's also a lot of reused concepts, like the opening of treasure chests in the correct order makes a return from earlier in the game, and you're forced to swim through rings on 2 different occasions. I honestly wish there was more to this level, but sadly there is not. On the flip side, my favorite level is pole jumping for red coins. Okay, I absolutely love this star, even though I find it to be quite challenging. In order to receive this star, Mario has to collect 8 red coins floating in the air and on platforms scattered throughout the area. There's a ton of platforming and riding these floating poles to get from coin to coin, which, can we talk about how Mario slides down poles throughout the game? It's so cute and so funny. But back to what I was saying, this level is honestly one of the more memorable stars in the game for me, even though I'm not a fan of Dire Docks in general. Truthfully, I dislike all the stars that take place right before you enter the tunnel. The whirlpool in this section makes everything 10 times harder to complete. However, if I had to pick a least favorite, it would definitely be the Manta Ray's reward. For this star, Mario must swim through 5 rings trailing behind a Manta Ray. It doesn't sound hard at all, but the swimming controls, camera angles, and the whirlpool really team up to make getting this star a living nightmare. Also, the hitbox for the rings are way too small. Overall, this level is meh. It's the best word I have to describe it. It has one really memorable star, but other than that, I don't look forward to completing it. Number 14, Jolly Roger Bay. I truly do not enjoy this level. As I said before, I hate swimming in most games, and sadly, that's the majority of these stars. Jolly Roger Bay consists of a large body of water, with a ship, and a random cave. There's really not much going on, but at least the music is a bop. As for the gameplay and puzzles, they reuse the same treasure chest opening game more than once, and I really don't understand why. It just feels a little, I don't want to say lazy, but I also can't find the right word to describe it. So, if I had to pick a favorite, I guess I'd go with Treasure of the Ocean Cave, just because you don't have to swim once you're actually inside the cave. Yep, totally a cop-out. Getting the star itself is also pretty easy, just open the chests in the correct order and there you go. Not much of a challenge at all. I honestly dislike a majority of these levels. Most require swimming, which as you know by now, I absolutely hate. I also feel like the challenges are either super easy and/or super annoying. But the one I disliked the most was definitely through the jet stream. At the bottom of Jolly Roger Bay, there's a star that's hidden deep inside a jet stream. The best way to get this star is by using the metal cap, but when you first play this level, that item is not available. So, you can try to worm your way into the jet stream, which I'm sad to say I've tried, and that's probably why even the thought of this level makes me nauseous, but yeah, it genuinely sucks both ways. Or should I say blows? Get it? Because it's a jet stream? I honestly don't know how I feel about this level. It's one of the least interesting ones in my opinion. I truly think I don't like swimming, and that's my biggest issue with the level, so maybe take my opinion with a grain of salt. Number 13, Shifting Sandland. This is one of those levels you forget is in the game, but when you realize it's next, you're filled with a little bit of dread. At least, that's how I felt. Getting around this level is a bit tedious as there's a bunch of quicksand and annoying enemies. I'm looking at you, bird. This bird stole my hat as soon as I was on my way to get the wing cap, and I truly debated on whether or not I should just restart the entire game. However, they do make up for all this by letting you use the Koopa shell to make traversing the level easier. Just don't lose it before you've gotten to where you want to be, because it is not respawning. My favorite star is definitely Stand Tall on the 4 pillars. This star requires stepping inside the pyramid, located in the center of the level, after standing on all 4 surrounding pillars. I honestly debated on whether I should go with this or Inside the Ancient Pyramid for my favorite, just because trying to stand on the one pillar surrounded by instant death quicksand gives me angina. However, once you actually complete it and go inside the pyramid, you are rewarded with a truly epic boss battle. It feels so random and out of place for Mario. It honestly gives me Zelda Bongo Bongo Tower of the Gods vibes, but I really think it adds to the charm of this star. You are not expecting this type of fight, and I think it adds to its memorability. My least favorite star for this level is free flying for the 8 red coins. Ah yes, another star that requires flying, and I absolutely refuse to spend more than 10 minutes on it trying. For this star, Mario needs to collect the 8 red coins scattered throughout the level. 4 are on the ground, and the other 4, well, you guessed it, they're floating in the air. I absolutely despise using the wing cap. I actively avoid it if possible because the controls and camera angle are just not it. There's a sort of up and down rhythm you need to have when controlling Mario, and I just don't have it. I personally don't find it to be very intuitive and user-friendly, but honestly, that's probably just a skill issue. Aside from getting the coins in the sky, this star isn't hard at all. This level doesn't really stick out to me in general. I had no real excitement to complete this level, it's just kind of there. Number 12, Rainbow Ride. This shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but I find Rainbow Ride to be one of the most annoying levels to complete. None of the levels in Mario 64 are terrible, but this one definitely has the ability to make me want to throw any console I played on out of the window. It definitely feels like one of the slowest levels, as you spend a lot of time waiting as you ride around on a magic carpet. Did I mention how incredibly easy it was to fall off this magic carpet as well? Because it is. This level has a bit of everything gameplay-wise. Verticality, horizontality, is that even a word? Platforming, and time-based challenges. The biggest time-based challenge being that if you happen not to stand on the carpet for a certain amount of time, it slowly begins to fade away, thus leaving you stranded. My favorite star was a no-brainer. It's coins amassed in a maze. I think this is definitely the least frustrating star because it's the only one where falling off the stage isn't as common. This is a collect the 8 red coins mission, so it's not hard to figure out what to do, especially at this point in the game. Oh boy, my least favorite, Cruiser Crossing the Rainbow. As the first star of the level, you would expect them to go easy on you, right? Wrong. I died so many times on this star, I'm actually embarrassed to admit just how many times I failed. The premise of getting the star is riding a magic carpet to the top of the level and boarding an airship where the star is being kept. It really doesn't sound hard, but the amount of obstacles they put in your way is truly astounding. Random blocks and platforms are constantly blocking your way, but I absolutely hate going around this spinning fire-breathing platform the most. If the camera angle isn't optimal, it's quite easy to overshoot the carpet, thus leading to Mario's fall back to Earth. You actually have to go through this section of the level again for the very last star called Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but by that point you're way more accustomed to the flow of this level, so it's not as bad. Excluding how much of a chore this level can be, I actually really like Rainbow Ride's vibes. The music does give me a bit of anxiety, but I feel like that's very fitting for this stage. Number 11, Hazy Maze Cave. Like the name states, Hazy Maze Cave essentially functions as a labyrinth. Even though I've played through this game a couple of times, I still get lost on which way to go for each star. There are plenty of doors and obstacles in your way, for example, fire, large gaps, a toxic maze, yada yada. They really don't want you to complete this level, huh? As for my favorite level, I think I would have to say Swimming Beast in the Cavern. This star features our favorite Loch Ness monster-looking sea dragon named Dory. Fun fact, when I first completed this level, I had no idea he moves in the direction Mario is facing. I was genuinely standing there like, okay, well, what next? Basically, you use Dory to get to the top of an island, which is housing the star. As for my least favorite level, it was definitely between navigating the toxic maze and Elevate for 8 red coins. But honestly, I have so much childhood trauma from navigating the toxic maze, so I'm forced to talk about it. Hidden somewhere in the cave, there's a maze filled with toxic gas, which requires the use of the metal cap, or else Mario will slowly begin to lose life. Basically, they want you to find a door that's hidden very high up. But not only is it out of view, they also put a divot right in front of it, making it even harder to jump up. As a kid, I remember running around in circles, trying to figure out where I was supposed to go, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say how long it took me to figure it out. Truthfully, I don't think this star is very hard once you know where everything is and is actually incredibly straightforward. Honestly, I think I can say that for a majority of these levels, the main issue you will have is not knowing exactly what to do or where to go based on the vague level names. But we can get into that another time. In a weird way, I really do like the vibes of this level. I also like the color palette for some reason. I feel like that's a really odd thing to say, but yeah, a decent level overall. Number 10. Tick-Tock Clock. As you can probably guess based on the name, this level deals heavily with time. In fact, the time at which you jump into the level changes how the entire level functions. For example, enter the stage with the minute hand at 12 sharp and everything is frozen. Enter before it reaches the 6 and the level is slower. I think this is a really cool concept for a level, but it could be a little difficult to figure out which time works best for each level, especially when you're playing for the first time. Trust me, I would know. My favorite star is Get a Hand. This is a pretty simple star, but for some reason it sticks out to me. The premise of getting this star is having Mario stand on the minute hand in order to get a star waiting on the other side. Yep, that's it. This is one of the easier stars, so I have nothing to complain about. As for my least favorite star, it was definitely between Time Jumps on Moving Bars and Stomp on the Thwomp. Hearing the star named Time Jumps on Moving Bars strikes fear into my bones, but honestly, I replayed it a couple times and it's really not that bad. Falling off is something you will definitely do a couple times while completing this level, but trust me, it is nothing compared to the amount of times you'll fall and stomp on the Thwomp. For this star, Mario makes his way to the top of the clock by running, jumping, climbing, and backflipping. Then make your way down a conveyor belt, and don't get smushed by the Thwomp waiting at the end. Instead, jump on his head to reach the star located above him. It's a very long star and honestly leaves you with a lot of room for error. Accidentally have the wrong perspective and you'll fall. Don't time your jumps correctly either? Yeah, you're definitely falling. It's a really easy star to fail at, but once you complete it, it is very satisfying. I'll give it that. I absolutely love the vibes this level gives off. Something about the foggy white atmosphere really does it for me. This is an extremely nostalgic level for me. I remember trying to complete this level as a kid and failing miserably. Luckily, I'm an adult now, and I can actually complete my games without too much of a struggle. Number 9. Tiny Huge Island. I feel like this is one of those levels that had the potential to be one of the best just based on its mechanics alone. Tiny Huge Island truly lives up to its name. Jumping into either the small or large painting determines how Mario experiences the level. Jumping through the small painting increases Mario's size in relation to the level, whereas the large painting does the opposite. This level honestly gives similar vibes to Tall Tall Mountain, but isn't as fun to play in my opinion. My favorite star is Make Wiggler Squirm. For this star, you make your way to the top of the mountain as Giant Mario. At the top is a pool of water, which you can drain by ground pounding. Transform back into tiny or regular-sized Mario, and enter the hole left behind. Inside, we find Wiggler, who you have to defeat by jumping on its head 3 times. I actually really like this star because it feels like a cool boss fight, even though it's not much of a challenge. As for my least favorite star, it's definitely Rematch with Koopa the Quick. Yes, Koopa the Quick makes his return in this level with another race for the star. Compared to his appearance in the very first level of this game, this race is definitely a lot more annoying due to the location. The race in Tiny Huge Island is a shorter distance, but there's a section of the race where you have to make your way across a plank of wood with the wind blowing you horizontally. Pause. Just how easy it is to fall off or get stuck glitching on the edge of the wood, again, pause, easily makes this my least favorite star of the level. Overall, I feel like this level has everything to be one of the best, but somewhere along the way it just falls a little flat. Number 8. Lethal Lava Land. They were not lying when they named this level. It is incredibly easy to die as the floor is genuinely lava. Mario makes his way around by either jumping from platform to platform, using the wing cap, or a Koopa shell. The enemies in this level are incredibly annoying, but when I say enemies, I'm really talking about the bullies. They are everywhere and serve as a way to throw you off platforms. I'll talk a bit more about why I hate them in a second though. My favorite star is Hot-Footed into the Volcano. This star is found inside the volcano, located at the center of the level. It honestly looks like you shouldn't be able to go inside, but you absolutely can. I love the change of scenery, and the level itself isn't too hard at all. Just scale the inside of the volcano without falling off, and you're golden. As for my least favorite star, it was definitely between Bully the Bullies and Elevator Tour in the Volcano. but I think I dislike Bully the Bullies more. Elevator Tour in the volcano has one annoying jump that's pretty easy to overshoot, but other than that it's enjoyable. Bully the Bullies just sucks the whole way through. Mario has to face off against 3 small bullies at once, and then one big bully on a small island in order to receive the star. Again, I don't know if this is just a skill issue, but I swear the hitbox for these enemies have a mind of their own. Also, after getting knocked over, they don't allow Mario enough time to get up. It's an infuriating star. Overall, I feel like I had a lot of negative things to say about this level, but for some reason I still really like it. It genuinely might be the nostalgia talking. Number 7. Bob-omb Battlefield. This is the first level of the game, so it's not difficult at all. I will contradict myself, just give me a second. I actually really like this level, as it has you interacting and challenging different Mario characters, like throwing around King Bob-omb and racing a giant Koopa named Koopa the Quick. When it comes to my favorite, I honestly don't think this level really has a standout star, so I think I have to go with the first one titled Big Bob-omb on the Summit. It's the first star of the game, and it's quite memorable in general. Basically, you make your way to the top of the mountain and have a fierce battle with King Bob-omb. Pick him up and throw him 3 times in order to collect your first star. However, don't get thrown off the mountain in the process, because making your way back up to the top absolutely sucks. Now remember when I said this level isn't really difficult? I still feel that way, but I absolutely despise this star. In fact, I hate it so much that I actually refused to play it again in preparation for this video. The star is called Mario Wings to the Sky. In order to complete it, you must have 10 stars and unlock the wing cap, which gives Mario the ability to fly. Mario makes his way to a floating island and uses the wing cap to collect 5 coins floating in the sky, which will make the final star appear. The only problem is, I absolutely suck at flying. I don't know if this is a skill issue, it probably is, but it took me way too many times to collect all the coins my first playthrough. This star definitely gives me a bit of PTSD. Overall, this is an extremely inoffensive level. It is the first level, so there's not really much to critique, but it does do a good job of teaching the player how the rest of the game is supposed to work. Number 6. Tall Mountain. As the name of the level states, the setting is a tall mountain. Mario spends his time running up and down the mountain collecting stars. There are a ton of enemies around every corner, everything from Monty Moles, Goombas, Chuckyas, and even monkeys. Yes, I consider the monkeys as enemies because they steal Mario's hat. Ugh, the audacity. There are multiple ways to scale the mountain, some of the ways being more obvious than others. My favorite star is Mysterious Mountainside. This is another one of those stars that is super vague and confusing if you're playing for the first time. Hidden on the side of the upper part of the mountain is a secret wall. Jumping through said wall will take you into a secret slide level. This sliding level isn't really hard, but make sure you're paying close attention because there is a trick halfway through the slide. Other than that, it's a relatively fun and simple star. Once you figure out where it's located, of course. Breathtaking view from bridge. I am not a fan of this star. Mario makes his way towards the top of the mountain and is tasked with jumping to a star hidden in an alcove in the side of the mountain. Making the jump to this star allows for a lot of room for error. It is incredibly easy to miss and fall back to the bottom of the mountain, especially because you can never position the camera at a satisfying angle. Overall, I really do love the setting for this level. The mountain feels very lively and gives off peak Mario vibes. I can't complain. Number 5. Snowman's Land. The second winter level in Mario 64. It follows the slipping and sliding of a normal ice or snow-based level, with the added feature of water essentially being lava. Getting in the water will either send you flying, or you'll slowly begin to lose life depending on how long you're in the water. There is a slight vertical aspect to this level, but honestly it's really only utilized for 1 star. So, into the igloo. I honestly have a lot of nostalgia for this star. I remember coming home from school, and the first thing I did was load up this level just to mess around. This specific star was the most memorable for me. Well, this and Into the Deep Freeze. Not only do you need to ride a Koopa shell across the level and up a ledge, you also get to go inside a random igloo hidden in the stage. The inside of the igloo functions like a maze, but it's honestly not hard to figure out where to go and what to do. Especially once you grab the vanish cap that allows you to walk through walls, the star is visible from the moment you enter. I honestly don't have a least favorite star, as I find them all to be simple and enjoyable, but if I had to pick one, I guess I'd say Chill with the Bully. It's a star that has an overused concept, with a bit more of a challenge as you're fighting the bully on ice. But yeah, push the bully off the platform and the star is yours. Overall, I love this level. I don't know why I really enjoy the winter levels in this game, even though I absolutely despise winter in real life. Number 4. Whomp's Fortress. Whomp's Fortress is the second level of the game, and also one of, if not, the easiest world in the game. This is a very vertical level. You'll be doing a lot of platforming and trying your best not to fall off. Falling off is something that is not uncommon in this world, especially for this star that requires you to use the cannon to launch onto a pole and collect the star waiting at the bottom. My favorite star is red coins on the floating isle. I think the reason I like this star is because I can mindlessly run to the top of the level, and none of the coins are particularly hard to get. I feel like this is not a good reason, but hey, it is what it is. My least favorite star, however, was fall onto the caged island. Oh boy. This star sounds like it shouldn't be too hard, but the camera angle makes it 1,000 times harder than it needs to be. Basically, at the beginning of the level, there's an owl hiding in a tree, which, how do they expect you to find it? I don't know, but ignoring old game logic, you use the owl to maneuver your way to a floating island housing a caged star. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. The camera angle and controls are so trash. The first time I used the owl, I didn't even know that you could control it. I was just flying around like, okay, what's next? It's truly an annoying star, and I can almost guarantee that you will fail it a couple times. Overall, it's a great second level. It's pretty chill, and I feel like it effectively does its job of showing the player how the game will go from here on out. Number 3. Big Boo's Haunt. Who doesn't love a good spooky level? This level stands out to me in general. Even getting into the level is unique. You're lured through a door by a boo, and then you find yourself in a courtyard surrounded by boos, and you have to find and defeat the boo holding a cage. Inside the cage is the level itself. It's the first level that you don't access by going inside a painting. Since the level takes place at Big Boo's mansion, you'll be opening a lot of doors, being surprised by what's waiting on the other side, and going up and down stairs in order to collect your stars. It pretty much functions exactly as you would expect a haunted mansion to function. Big Boo's balcony. I love this star so much, and I think it has to do with the setting. As the name states, you have to make your way to Big Boo's balcony, where you face off with Big Boo and collect the star on top of the mansion. I'm not gonna lie, every time I play this star, I'm always guaranteed to fall off the top of the house at least once. Maybe it just rained in Big Boo's haunt, and that's why it happens. Yeah, let's go with that. I have to say it was really hard to pick a least favorite level because all of the levels were very inoffensive. I enjoyed all of them, but if I had to pick one I liked the least, it was probably Ride Big Boo's merry-go-round. Hidden in the basement of Big Boo's mansion is a merry-go-round plastered with pictures of boos on the wall. In order to get the star, you have to defeat all the boos that spawn from said pictures while running around on the merry-go-round. It's a bit of a challenge, but really nothing too crazy. Overall, I love a good spooky level. The atmosphere this level has is probably my favorite. It gives me the warm and fuzzies, even though I don't think that was their intention. Number 2. Wet Dry World. Does this count as a water level? I personally don't count it as one. The main gimmick is the change in water level, which corresponds to the height at which Mario jumps into the painting. You can change the water level within the world as well, which is required for most, if not all, stars. There's a level of verticality, especially in the first part of the level. You can make your way to the top using heave-hos, which are these little flipper guys. They can be kind of annoying to use, but I find the concept of Mario being flung in the air kind of funny, so they get a pass. Without a doubt, my favorite star is Go to Town for Red Coins. When I think of Mario 64, this is one of the many stars I look forward to completing. This level is separated into 2 parts. The first part is an open area with many levels and platforms, and the second part is a town-like area. I love the vibes in the town. It's completely empty, but I still loved going from building to building, rooftop to rooftop. It made me feel like Spider-Man or something. Just a really good star overall. Okay, this was another one of those levels where I really don't have a clear least favorite, but if I had to pick one, I guess I'd say Shocking Arrow Lifts. Mario raises the water level and uses a series of platforms with arrows on them to reach the first star. This is probably the least memorable star for me, and it's not really hard except for this one floating enemy that could possibly catch you off guard. Overall, I really like this level. Even though this level is filled with water, it still feels really warm and cozy. It reminds me of the summertime, and it just might be because of these floating water bugs called skeeters. That's a really interesting name for them. I did not know they were called that. Number 1. Cool Cool Mountain. Ah yes, another winter wonderland. Normally, I am not a fan of ice levels because of ice physics, but this game has two really good ones. Mario does do the whole slipping and sliding thing, but it also kind of makes sense given that the whole level acts as one big slide from top to bottom. This sliding mechanic could potentially be tedious to traverse, as a slide typically only works in one direction. However, that is not an issue in this level because there are multiple hidden warp points, easily allowing you to go back and forth between the bottom and the top of the mountain. My favorite star is definitely Lil Penguin Lost. Okay, I have to come clean. The reason I love this star is because you get to hold a little baby penguin throughout the whole thing. In order to get the star, you need to return this baby penguin to its mother. The penguin is at the start of the level, so basically you need to grab it and run, or slide, to the bottom of the level without letting the baby penguin out of your sight. The mother-daughter reunion is super cute and totally worth it. Wall kicks will work. I cannot begin to describe how annoying this star is. I know it's most likely a skill issue, but no. Wall kicks will not always work. For this star, you have to go to the bottom of the level, and then use the cannon to shoot over to this ledge. Then run past some spin drifts and make your way over to this area. From here, you need to backflip to the upper level, and time jumps and a wall kick in order to reach the platform holding the star. The issue is, this is incredibly hard and takes multiple tries. I actually managed to do it pretty quickly when I started recording, but trust me, it can be a pain in the butt. I love this level so much. It's not too hard, the music is good, the atmosphere is amazing, and it has quite a few really fun stars. So, what do we think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments because I'm honestly not too sure if my opinions are popular or not, but yeah. I honestly find 90% of the levels in this game to be enjoyable, but of course they can't all be number 1. As of recording this video, I actually have COVID, so if I sound a little sick, that's why. I'm trying my best to mask it. As always, my name is Andy, and I hope to see you in the next video.